What's going on, YouTube? We're back. It is 11:30 a.m. Friday morning. Just over a month away from football season. Hall of Fame game last night. Not going to dive too much into that. I did see Roschon Johnson was the lead back for the Bears to start the game, followed by Khalil Herbert. So that's news. Kind of puts Roschon at number 2 behind Swift, then Herbert 3. Still going to be a 3-man committee. Still trying to avoid that backfield and grabbing Herbert and Johnson more than Swift, with Swift's injury history and him just bouncing around team to team. Now, switching it up today, I want to jump into some underdogs. They don't have... We're going to do a weekly winners, I think, today. We already did the Corgi, that's single entry. And other than that, can't do Slow Puppy on stream. They don't have any cheaper drafts besides the Eliminator, the Marathon. Technically, that's more like a mid-range, and then weekly winners right now. So hopefully they drop another puppy soon. They probably will. Soon the Puppy 2 comes out. We're going to hammer entries for that. But right now we're in kind of no man's land. So I want to jump into more for my redraft guys and people that want advice on what to do at home. We're just going to jump into a mock draft on ESPN. Probably the biggest platform for fantasy sports, in my opinion. And then we'll also try to jump into one of these 12-person drafts. Yeah, an Underdog. Let's throw some money in and try to jump into one of these. They take a little longer to fill. So hopefully it's not too bad. We'll just do a $3 one. Those are usually the ones that fill up faster than any of the other ones. Again, it will be a little tougher since it's the morning as well. But let's jump in the queue for that. There are 4 people in here, so that gives us time to do a mock draft. Question is what? Let's do a 12 team. Let's try to grab a 12 team real quick. That's not PPR. Here we go. Oh, here we go. That's full. Find another one. Let's just grab the 4 slot. So I'm not actually in any 12-man leagues at the moment. I am, however, in a 10-man that I run, which I'll be putting videos out on that. It's a 10-man PPR 2 flex league. Then I'm in a 14-man full PPR 2 flex league as well. That one gets kind of crazy. We're going to stream those drafts, but those aren't going to be until... My draft is until the 29th, I think, August. And then our 14-man is going to be on the 25th. That evening. And then I will be streaming tonight. We have a draft coming up. Sorry if my mic was a little bit loud there. We do have a draft coming up. Marco, my partner, he's in a league tonight. That's at 7 p.m. We're going to hop in a Discord at 6 p.m. We'll probably pop the stream up around like 6:45, kind of go over a game plan. Get some content out there for you. Hopefully someone can join live if you guys want. If not, watch it back. Same thing with this. Just doing this for entertainment purposes. And if I'm going to do this and I'm going to sit here and draft I might as well stream it. Update on Underdog. We're waiting for 5 people. I'm working on rankings. I have my QB rankings done. Some surprises in there. Aside from that, I have to work on my running back, wide receiver, and tight end rankings. Those obviously take a little longer. Not so much tight end, but running back and wide receiver, as there's just a lot more starters for your teams there. And I'm trying to get talking points for not everyone, because obviously when you're going over 36 running backs, 40 plus receivers, it's tough to kind of get a grasp there. Now, pick 1 of this mock. At pick 4, we would definitely go Tyreek there in a PPR. Now, Underdog Draft is starting soon. 30 seconds. We got pick 7 there. So that gives us a chance at JJ or AJ Brown. I've been trying to grab a lot more AJ Brown, as I'm really high on Jalen Hurts this year. I'm still high on the Eagles, and some data that I accumulated showed that Devonta Smith had a decent amount more of catchable target percentage than AJ Brown. So if AJ Brown can kind of get to where Devonta Smith was last year in that percentage, or even get to like an elite range of like 80%, which is crazy. It's like CD level, really only, but yeah, if Jalen can make that jump with AJ Brown, I think he's a locked and loaded top 3 guy. It's just they've been so run heavy. We will have a interesting decision at Jefferson or Brown when we get here. We could go either. Let's see what our exposures are. AJ Brown's 7%. Jefferson's 11. Brees 7. Bijan 11. We're gonna actually reach and go AJ Brown. We'll go with AJ Brown as the 5th receiver off the board. With Jefferson, I do like him, and I do think he's being, honestly, I wouldn't say undervalued. He's still a really good receiver that's going to get a lot of volume. It's more of a matter, does he end up like Devontae Adams' situation, where he gets 160 targets, but is very boom bust, which isn't bad for best ball, but for him to be going as the 5th receiver off the board, sometimes earlier, with the potential of Devontae Adams bust level, obviously the talent's higher, but the team's not good. Quarterback issues are the same. What could we expect? Now, did Sam Darnold play last year? Sam Darnold did play. 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, 61 completion percentage. But we're up pick 2 in this ESPN draft. We're probably just going to back out of this. But we went Tyreek first round. We'll go Nico Collins in that. 2 picks away here in Underdog. AJ Brown, our first pick. I don't really want to reach on Devonta Smith. Not as high on him in particular. We're on the board. Nico Collins is available to us. I've been really high on Debo. Let's go Waddle. $7% Waddle. We're up in this ESPN draft. Get like a couple more picks in this. Again, we were pick 4 overall. This is pick 28 overall. We went Tyreek, Nico Collins. We need a running back. I don't want to get a running back, but I guess we can go Joe Mixon. Just tough, man. They're all getting injuries already. Speaking of which, we didn't really go over any training camp news. We kind of just jumped in some drafts. I'm going to actually exit out this ESPN one. We can do one of those later. The first 2 picks, here we go. Brown, Waddle. Kind of leaves us open for whatever we want to do. Tons of teams go double receiver. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in the first round, or first 2 rounds go double receiver. Which isn't uncommon in these drafts, by the way. For those of you who don't know what we're doing, we're on Underdog Fantasy, my favorite fantasy site to draft on. You also have DraftKings. I guess there's a site called Drafters that I've never drafted on, that I actually just heard about this year. I've been doing Underdog for 2 years now. This will be my 3rd year. My second like full year. I found out about Underdog midway through 2022. But then from there, I drafted a ton of teams last year. Not a ton, but I started early and I just drafted throughout the year last year. And then same thing this year. I started as soon as the season ended last year and tournaments opened up, I started drafting again. Yeah, Underdog Fantasy. I have a code in the description if you haven't signed up. It'll give you a deposit match 50% up to $250. So if you deposit $250, you'll get an extra $125 on top of that. Gives me a little something extra. It's just $10 for me to play with in my account. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them by any means. They don't pay me money to promote them. You'll actually get yourself a code too if you sign up and you're new, that you could pass out to your friends and they can get the same kind of bonuses, and so can you. So it's for everybody. We're on the clock here. I feel like I've been going a lot of Cooper Kupp. I like Neighbors as a wide receiver 3 option. So boring because they're just at the top there, but I'll go Neighbors. I like Danny Dimes. I think the Giants are a little bit slept on this year. Obviously, their line, let's see what PFF has their line rankings at. So update on July 1st. PFF's rankings, offensive line wise, have the New York Giants as the 29th ranked line out of 32. The Giants' offensive line was among the NFL's worst in 2023, partially due to injuries. They brought in a couple of new players in Jermaine Illuminor and John Runyon. They needed the returners to improve drastically. Center John Michael Schmitz Jr., a 2nd round pick in 2023, right tackle Evan Neal, top 10 pick in 2022, have been disappointing so far. Even left tackle Andrew Thomas staying healthy and getting back to his 2022 form wouldn't make up for the poor performances from the other young players on the line in 2024. So definitely not good news for their offensive line, which doesn't make me too excited about like Devin Singletary, or Daniel Jones, just in terms of him getting pressured. But at the same time, we know Danny Dimes is a rushing quarterback. Now, obviously, off that knee injury, could be slower to start there, but we saw Kyler Murray. Younger QBs aren't necessarily that slow off of ACL injuries, or knee injuries in general. I don't expect that to be limited too much. And then now he has the best receiver he's ever played with, and Malik Neighbors, Wando Robinson, going into what year now? Yeah, Wandale going into his second year, right? No, third year. My bad. And then Jalen Hyatt going into his second year. Still have Isaiah Hodgins. There's Darius Slayton still there. They bring in Allen Robinson. A ton of like mid players, but then a ton of young potential with speed is the big thing. Like ton of speed on this team. Hopefully their offense can get going in terms of like schemes and everything. Mike Kafka, offensive coordinator. Third season with the Giants. I mean, I think, okay, we're on the clock here. Lock in Jalen Hurts with our AJ Brown stack. But yeah, I just think that, I don't know, the Giants are just going to be better than what people expect. Not by a ton, but I do think they're going to project over. So I'm cool with taking Neighbors. Kind of what I'm getting at. I don't want to rant there. Again, remember, this isn't a tournament, so the drafters in this aren't going to be necessarily very good. You only see one white badge and one red badge. Red badge means they spend X amount of dollars, won X amount of dollars. White badge, same thing, just less. In bigger tournaments, just tournaments in general, instead of just normal drafts, you'll see a ton of badges, which just means that the lobby's a little harder to draft in. That's all. Nothing too crazy. We do need a running back. We're 1-0-3-0. We go Hurts, Brown, Waddle, Neighbors. Coming up in 2 picks. Josh Jacobs still on the board. A little bit suspect with his injury there. Not worried about groin. I'm not worried about it either. He goes anyway, so not even an option. I'm not worried about it either. I'm just more concerned that it's so early in the training camp that it doesn't seem to be a worry. But if it were a little later, I'd be more worried. Let's go. We'll up our Ridley bags with D-Hop getting hurt. Now D Hop's injury shouldn't be too detrimental to his overall season, but at the same time he's 32, and then him getting injured at 32 is just never a good sign this early because he's just gonna be fighting through that all year. Maybe get some re-injury, re-nagging. It's not a good sign to start. So I think Calvin Ridley, decrease that competition. Hollywood falling. All right, Mixon off the board. Hollywood and Rice go back to back there. Coming up here, pick 66. One thing too, one big thing. I don't know if you guys saw the Herbert news, but he's down with that plantar fasciitis or whatever, plantar fascia injury. He's gonna be out right until the season. As I'm saying that, McConkey goes at 63. Worthy goes at 64. We still need a running back. We're gonna make it one of these two. White to running back is unquestioned running back, and we're gonna take Rachaad White. Not a bad start. So we go 1-1-4. We have Hurts, White, Brown, Waddle, Neighbors, Ridley. I'm a fan. Okay. My bad, guys. I'm trying to make a post on Instagram. I'm not focused as much on talking right now as I should be. But yeah. We go 1-1-4 build. Not bad. Let's talk about what I'm gonna do next. Let's talk about some of these builds actually. A-Chance single RB there, unstacked Lamar. Kyron goes in the second. Kyron climbing back up again. One thing I've noticed. Still kind of open to do what we want pick wise. Again, is nice. White off the board, 77. Could use running back. We're just in that territory. Only other receiver. Expect JSN to take a step up. Assuming we get one of these running backs back to us, probably not. But we're gonna go JSN anyway. Kyler off at 80. Unstacked. Kyler, one of my favorite QBs this year. No doubt one of my favorite teams going into the season. One of my favorite quarterbacks going into the season. I wouldn't say I'm as high on MHJ as some people, especially where he's going an underdog at like the 1-2 turn, but I do think he's going to be a great option for Kyler. He's going to open things up. Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch should be, explosive guys as well, young guys that have speed. Kyler's going to get his legs more involved again this year, being, another year off of his torn knee. And then they got James Conner. They bring in Trey Benson, so running back room gets a little bit of an upgrade with the young back and Trey Benson. With Conner going into another year, should still be sturdy. Trey McBride into his second year should only get better. So I'm really high on Kyler. I'm high on the Cardinals. I think that's going to be a good division. I think the Seahawks could potentially come in last place in that division. Call me crazy. And I probably am crazy. So Stevenson off. Najee still on the board. Would love to get Najee. If not, we'll probably go Warren. Let me see what 7% Warren, 15% Najee. I probably should go Warren. Warren goes. I don't like Jonathan Brooks. We're just going to add to our Najee bags. I think he's going to be good this year. We have 15% Najee, up that even more. Don't have a lot of Warren. Need to offset that a little bit, but he goes one ahead. And it can't be going Brooks, who's probably going to miss time early on in this tournament where weeks 15 through 17 don't matter. This isn't even a tournament, it's just a regular draft. I'm just going for cumulative points through week 17. So I just need guys that are playing constantly and aren't injury riddled, injury prone. I can't have guys that are suspension risks in this because they're useless on my team. Think of this more as like a redraft league where guys are just losing time and they're just eating time on your bench. But this is even worse because you can't drop them, trade them. They're just sitting there dead in the water. Especially when you're taking guys like Addison, Rice early. So think what you will about those two guys, but even with the risk, if you're playing in just like a normal one of these underdog drafts that's not a tournament, or your home leagues, like those guys need to be down boards more, just solely from the risk. Not Rice as much, obviously, because he's attached to a way better quarterback and team. But yeah, that's my take on it. Move that over a little bit more for you guys, make that bigger. Make the screen bigger. All right. So far, 1-2-5 build. Hurts, White, Harris, Brown, Waddle, Neighbors, Ridley, Smith, and Jigba. Love the receivers. Obviously, we go for 3 receivers to start, quarterback, receiver. We're going no RB build at the beginning. We're coming up next. Purdy off the board, Daniels off the board, Dak off the board. So 3 QBs in the last 4 picks. Singletary goes. Jonathan Brooks still on the board for reasons like I said. Now, do we go Bowers or Njoku? Let's see what my exposures are. Pretty high on both. We're actually going to go... we'll go Njoku. So we'll take our first tight end off the board. I do like going Brock Bowers a ton. I'm tapping him too much, maybe. Brian Robinson Jr. was thinking going that route. We're up not too many picks down the road, and there's QBs or running backs on the board. So hopefully one of these running backs falls to us. QB wise, probably only go one more QB. Maybe I don't even know with this format, honestly. Still have Tua. We can go Tua later. Danny Dimes for like a last round flyer. Will Levis, Genius. Like we still have tons of QBs. QB option with Jalen Hurts, so it's not even a big deal where we're at right now. We get a decent tight end. Probably gonna have to go 3 tight ends again. As normal, I do enjoy like 3 tight end builds. It's more a matter of when to start the build because I wait too long sometimes and get trigger happy on like just better players, but can't completely neglect the position. Caleb Williams off the board before ADP. He goes to the team with nobody, unstacked. Unstacked Caleb Williams. He just doesn't have a QB. Okay, so we're getting some backs back to us. You might want to go Goddard here with Hurts. But then that leaves us with what? Running back wise going into like later rounds. Goddard actually goes off the board, so we don't even have to worry about that pick. Just gonna go Javonte Williams. Again, ADPs don't really matter in this. Obviously, you want some values in general because you're getting guys falling, but this is a one and done draft. So it's not like tons of teams are being picked in a tournament and you're trying to find more values and differentiate between different teams. So, you know, you're not getting a very similar team to someone else. Kind of separate yourself from the pack. That doesn't really matter in this. It's just a one and done. So it's more about getting guys you like at the right price and just trying to get guys that are, you know, going to perform over their ADP. And you do get a running back run there after we go. Robinson, Edwards, Williams, Benson, Brown, Elliott, all off the board in the 10th. As expected, these last few rounds, 8, 9, 10, get real busy at running back. Tons of running backs and starters on the board. Got Swift, Mostert, Pollard, Najee, Warren, Ramondre, Spears, Brooks, Singletary, Moss. All the projected starters right there, besides, you know, Mostert, maybe Pollard, but I think that's just going to be a timeshare. Otherwise, everyone's a starter there. Zeke's going to be, you know, arguably the starter there. Javonte should be the starter. Gus is splitting time with J.K. Dobbins. Brian Robinson, the expected starter, according to Underdog and Betters. Assuming Eckler's then the passing down back and Robinson kind of takes a step back from that role. If that happens, some of his bigger games came from just busted plays on receptions. So kind of back down on Brian Robinson. The touchdown upside's not as high with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, and if that's what he's going to be more reliant on, meh. But I faded him last year, and he outperformed a little bit. So we're on the clock here, pick 127. We're 1-3-5-1 build. Pretty free to do what we want. Think we're going to go to lock in our second QB, pair him with Waddle. So we go Hurts, Brown, to a Waddle stack. Gives us room for Jonnu Smith later. Also room for like Jalen Wright at running back. I don't think I'll be doing any of like Odell or anything. Then also with Hurts, Eagle-wise, you know, not really anything too exciting. You don't really, I mean, I'm not going to stack anybody else there. So really just looking for the Johnny stack with Tua, maybe Jalen Wright to add to the mix, given Mostert's injury history. Herbert off at 130. Again, dealing with that foot injury, that's that guy's first quarterback. He also has McConkey and Gus Edwards, so understandable. Lawrence goes. to the team with no Jaguars. Muth goes. So no Big Pat in play for us today. I'm a Big Pat truther, Steelers fan here. So obviously looking more towards Steelers. Although I will say I hate betting on the Steelers. Yeah, not a big better on the Steelers. They're so hit or miss there. They overperform against good teams, underperform against bad teams. Consistent cycle, just like Pitt football. Steelers do the same thing. Hate to see it, but just how it goes. Okay, coming back up, we've been off the receiver grind. We've gone running back, tight end, running back, quarterback. I think it's time to grab our next receiver. And we'll be grabbing Jalen Polk there. Tons of good reports coming out of camp for him and Javon Baker. That room's wide open receiver-wise. You got Pop Douglas, Polk, Baker. I think Juju's still there. You got Kendrick Bourne coming off his injury, KJ Osborne, Tyquan Thornton, just a bunch of like young speedster guys, young playmakers that all have potential, but pretty wide open. Is like no one's been the bona fide number one. All those guys have been injured, and they draft Polk early, so good potential there. Obviously, he was the one in Washington, not the one, the two behind Adunze, but he, yeah, there with Penix. All right. Marshawn Lloyd with that hip injury, making case to usurp Dylan. Impressive during Thursday practice. Lloyd is undoubtedly faster and shiftier. Did fumble 10 times on 325 touches in college. Yeah, I mean, having fumbling issues is never a good sign because in the NFL, especially geared towards like the rules now, where hitting is less, right? People care less about the tackle because of penalties. They're trying to be safer on that front, and it just gets worse every year. Obviously, we're trying to tackle, but guys go more for the ball than tackling, as you would see with like TJ Watt. He's just an infamous like ball swatter. So fumbling issues, if you're a guy like that and the defense going up against you knows that, like they're gonna game plan towards that. So hopefully he fixes that. And AJ Dillon hasn't been impressive. Mooney off. I like Mooney. I think he has a role in Atlanta. They get a little more pass heavy there. Okay, we got options here. Can't go McLaughlin. We have Javante. I mean, could, but we have Javante, so not too worried. Burton was hurt. Pop shows no contact. We'll go Todd Chandler. In the case of Aaron Jones getting hurt, could have went Jalen Wright. As I said before. Could have also taken one of these tight ends. Hunter Henry in play for us coming back around. As well. If he doesn't get snagged. These two in play for us. Or obviously whatever the board gives us. We'll see. I did pretty well last year with like my sit and goes. This is what these are called, sit and goes, just one-off drafts. I do a few of these when there's not tournaments that I like to enter because I'm more of a low budget drafter. So I can get into like drafts for cheap. I'll do these when those tournaments aren't available. And I think I won like 3 or 4 of them. I think 3, came in second one. I do pretty well in them. I'm usually competitive in them. The drafts are a lot easier. So in my opinion, like a typical advance rate or a win rate in a 12-man league is obviously 1 in 12, just based on odds. But I see myself usually doing way better than that in these. My advance rate last year in tournaments too was like 20%. And 1 divided by 12 is more like an 8% chance of winning a 12-man league. Now, in the pods for tournaments, the advance rate is 2 out of 12, so you're getting like 1 in 6 advance, which is more like a 16% rate, but I'm still over that advance rate I was last year, my 30 drafts or whatever. But obviously not the same thing in these. It's just the winner doesn't take all, but the winner gets $20 for a $3 buy-in. You just what, 6 extra money in profit. So I'll live with that. I'll go with that. On the board, right goes, so we're gonna go Henry as our second tight end. So we're 2-4-6-2. Hurts, Tagovailoa, White, Harris, Williams, Chandler, Brown, Waddle, Neighbors, Ridley, JSM, Polk, and Njoku, Henry. So we have the Tua Waddle stack, the Hurts Brown stack. Johnny Smith still in play late round for our last tight end if we want to go that route. Could also go 2 QB, 2 tight end and risk it in this build. I'll probably chill at 2 quarterbacks here with 2 decent ones. Obviously, Hurts is my number 1 this year, but Tua is definitely an above average quarterback, and I think he can get the job done when Hurts isn't performing. Yeah. We'll chill on that with quarterback, I think. So we're either going to draft a 2-6-8-2 build, a 2-6-7-3 build, 2-5-7-3, or 2-5-8-3. Yeah, I mean, the options are up in the air. We're going to see how the board falls and run it from there. It's 12:21. We've been drafting for about 40 minutes. We've been live for 50. If you're watching this, if you've been tuned in, if you're watching on a replay, as a video, whatever, I hope you guys are learning some things. I hope you're getting my takes on everything. Again, I'm just a normal guy doing this for fun. I'm not a gambler, not a pro gambler, not a pro DFS player by any stretch of the means. I do this for fun. I'm an everyman guy, everyday kind of guy. Doesn't even make sense. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just the man's man. Anyway, if you're just like an average drafter like me who's in it for fun, these are my takes. I do research. I do more research than the average person. Obviously, I'm making content built around it, and I want to be more involved in fantasy. But I'm just the normal guy with elite genetics. But anyway, again, I hope you guys are getting some information from this. I'm trying to give out my insight and my inputs for this year. 262, we're kind of open for whatever. You have neighbors. I'm gonna go Wando. Go Wandale. Add him with neighbors. Could really go Danny Dimes if we want to. Never mind, Danny Dimes off the board, isn't he? No, I lied. Not off the board. Yeah, if you guys are liking this content, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to grow this account. My links to Instagram and TikTok are down there. This isn't just my channel too. I have a partner helping me out, Marco. He's trying to handle the TikTok stuff. He has a full-time job. Again, we're trying to get content out to you guys on Instagram, at least a post a day, maybe two. I'm trying to get better at Canva, try to get better graphics. I have the data, I have the info, I just need better graphics. I want it to make it as pleasurable as possible for you guys, to make the learning experience easy for you guys, especially those that are new or just kind of rookies and amateurs to this thing and aren't as involved as some people like me who, again, my redraft leagues that I'm in, we pay $100+ every year. It always is going up to enter our leagues. And obviously I spend a decent amount of money on Underdog, a couple hundred a year minimum. So, which I usually see decent returns. I see some returns at the end. Never like, I think last year I was broke even, maybe back up a little bit, but I always reinvest anyway. I just put all the winnings back into like the DFS stuff that Underdog does, battle royales every week. And then later in the year, if you do miss out on drafting this season, if you don't have the money, you're not old enough to play yet, but you will be come time of the season, they do a few different drafts. They do Best Ball Resurrection, which is around Halloween, where you can draft after the season has started and you can do some best ball tournaments that way. Then you can also do playoff best ball. So come playoff time, they do playoff best ball where you can make bets on who's going to make it farthest. Now the strategy in that's a little bit different, and same with Best Ball Resurrection. But yeah, when it comes to like this, those are fun. You get a little more insight on the teams and what they're going to do versus right now where we're still over a month out, camp's going on, you don't have any idea about injuries, what could happen in the next month and a week. Projected starters could turn into, number two guys. A lot of things happening, a lot more risk happening, which I also would suggest redraft leagues. If you're drafting now, that's a problem. Redraft leagues should be done way towards the end of camp, as late as you can draft. Then you can get your whole league to draft. That way you're avoiding and minimizing injury risk. Nobody gets screwed over. We have 3 picks left. Still need a running back. Could go Estime with Javonte. We're just going to go Jonnu. Finish up the tight end room. Still like Pierre. Yeah, we still have some running back options. Obviously, receivers in this range are kind of all the same. We could correlate Boyd later with Ridley if we wanted to. Never mind, Tyler Boyd goes at 187. This guy's been watching the news. He knows all about DeAndre Hopkins' injury. Also, have you guys been watching any of the Olympics? US won gold in the women's team all around for gymnastics. They won. Simone Biles won all around. Suni Lee came in third. Sprinting starts today. 100-meter women starts today. Triple jumps today for the women. Yeah, let's kind of see what the schedule is today. Kind of get off track here from football for a second, but I love watching the Olympics. I love watching just the different sports. It's super fun to see who's really good at things that we don't think about every day, at least in America, where the big three sports, basketball, football, baseball, then hockey included, but we look past things like gymnastics, track and field. There are other soccer, I guess you could put in there, but like even watching people cycle, diving, synchronized diving's crazy. But like all this stuff that we don't think about on a daily, that athletes are putting a lot of their time into and making no money out of, aside from like small sponsorships here and there, and they have full-time jobs. It's crazy. It's awesome. Always makes me excited, always makes me want to just go work out, do something fun. But yeah, I think the men's won in rowing the other day as well. Quad sculls, the US won. What's on today? We're about to be up here. We need running back help. We will go Roshan Johnson, as he did appear to be the number 2 back for Chicago from the Hall of Fame game. I guess we could have went Tyrone Tracy just for the correlation of our bets on neighbors. Although it does look like Eric Gray. Could be the RB2. So, yeah. CH falling down boards because of the whole Kadarius Toney thing. Deneric Prince repping ahead of CH during run periods. Although CH was sick. If Pacheco does go down, you probably do see like more of a split backfield. That team would be hurting if that happened. I feel like CH is like a late round grab. We do need running back help. I think our receivers are fine. Kind of carried by the top couple, but probably end up going with a 2-6-7 build here. How old is CEH? No, not a Clydesdale, man. I need Clyde Edwards. 25, so. I doubt practice squad guy Deneric Prince is really gonna overtake him. I think they just don't have anybody else. And CH is still the passing down back, even if, you know, Pacheco does end up going down. I'd rather have the passing down back. Foreman got hurt, right? In the head, damn. Prayers to him. Hope he's all right. That's horrible. We are up. Tracy's still on the board. Not a fan. What were they saying about Eric Gray? He was also a 5th round pick. I don't know, we're just gonna go CEH. I know he's been falling down boards, but we'll just keep taking. We'll take him there. It's fine by me. I'm not going for the dude that's. I'm gonna go for the former number 1 pick, not number 1, 1st round pick, versus some dude that's just off the. I think it's just a rugby guy, off the practice squad. Special teams guy. Clearly, there wasn't much in him, so. So the team ends up Hurts, Tua at quarterback. We get 2 QBs. We get White, Harris, Javonte, Chandler, Johnson, CEH at running back, so 6 RBs. We go Brown, Waddle, Neighbors, Ridley, JSM, Polk, Robinson, Wandale, that is, for 7 wide receivers. And to round it up, we go 3 tight ends, Njoku, Henry, Smith. We get the stack with Tua with Smith, Waddle. We get the Hurts stack with AJ Brown. We correlate a little bit with Hunter Henry, Jalen Polk. Correlate a little bit too with Neighbors and Wandale. And that's about it. Draft board went off like this: receiver, 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 quarterback, receiver. So no RB build, not extreme no RB, because we end up taking Rachaad White in the 6th. So running back, then we go receiver, running back, tight end, running back, QB, receiver, running back, tight end, receiver, tight end, running back, running back. So again, in the final 6 rounds, we get 1 receiver. Hopefully that does it. I like that draft. We've done a few others, like sit and goes. Let's go back to the lobby. See if they added any drafts today. Nothing. Now I did say we were gonna do a weekly winners. We're already at an hour into the stream. I think I'm gonna cut it from there. I'm gonna work on some YouTube stuff, some videos and everything. Promise we will do weekly winners on stream. I just want to get one of those drafts in. That was fun. Hopefully some puppies come out. We did some schnauzers. I want some other $3 or $6. So hopefully not, but I'm expecting a puppy 3 to come out, or the fast puppy 2. That should happen as soon as the corgi fills, which is looking like it'll be today. I don't want to do any off-stream drafts. That's what like the slow puppy would be. I want to stream everything. Okay, so that'll be it for today's stream. Guys, I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you tuning in, listening, watching, whatever it may be. Please let us know in the comments what we could do to enhance the experience, what you thought of the draft, where we could have went done better, or just like your opinions on fantasy football this year or life in general. Let us know in the comments. Please like, subscribe the video. Also check out for link to Underdog and use our code for 50% deposit match up to $250. Again, not sponsored anyway, but just want you guys to be able to enjoy the fun that we have. Catch you next time. We'll actually catch you later tonight.